In the beginning of March of 2026, the VBZ announced the very sad news that the Tram 2000s are officially retired. After almost 50 years in operation, these trams have become icons to the city of Zurich. So let's take a look at the history of these historic trams. It starts in the 1960s when the VBZ built a prototype. This prototype would end up becoming the structure which would later be the famous Tram 2000s. The new trams would replace the old Kurbelis and Pedalers, which have been running since the mid-1940s. In mid-1974, the VBZ placed an order on 45 BE4-6 Tram 2000s with cabs and 15 units without a cab. They were delivered between April 1976 and December of 1978. Built by the SWS in Schlieren, while the electric part came from Braun Boveri. And SWP in Protteln made the bogies, which are Jacob's bogies, by the way. The maintenance location for the first generation is the depot of Oerlikon, and line 11 and line 14 were equipped with Tram 2000s in a double version. In 1983, another 53 BE4-6 were purchased, and also 20 BE2-4, which didn't have a cab and nicknamed Pony by the people. This time they were built by SWP. However, the electric parts still came from BBC. They would be delivered from August 1985 to October 1987. The maintenance location of the second generation is in the depot Kalkbreite. Line 3 was equipped with the Tram 2000 and a pony at the back, the so-called Ponyzug, while Line 8 received Tram 2000s in a solo version. The depot of Oerlikon also received more Tram 2000s to accommodate Line 15 with Tram 2000s in solo versions. In 1988, 23 more BE4-6s and 15 BE2-4s were purchased by the VBZ, and they were delivered between 1991 and 1992. They were still built by SWP in Protteln, however the electric parts came from ABB. Despite their differences, all of the three generations can be mixed together. The maintenance depot for the third generation is the depot Irchel, where Line 9 got Ponyzüge and Line 10 got Tram 2000 solos. Despite post-war vehicles still being in operation, the VBZ didn't purchase a fourth generation with low-floor technology. The since 1987 in Geneva and 1989 in Bern operation trams with low-floor technology can't handle the steep inclines of Zurich. Between 1993 and 1995, a test with the Municio was made. The 1966 built tram was equipped with a Cobra low-floor section in the middle, which was built by SEG. SWP then came up with the BE5-6 Cobra, and in late 1996 the VBZ ordered these trams, with them supposed to commence service in 1999. However, that was delayed to 2001. The VBZ then decided to make a low-floor prototype for the Tram 2000. The concept was oriented on the 1987 built Senftes from the BLT, and in 2001 the BE4-6 numbered 2113 was rebuilt to a BE4-8. Between 2004 and 2005 the rest of the third generation Tram 2000 trams were then rebuilt to Senftes, before all the Cobra trams came. The bogies came from SEG, while the middle section was built by Alstom. The Senftes would run on lines 6 and 10, as well as on line 5 on Sundays. By 2006, the Cobras started to appear more frequently, and the Cobras on line 9 made it possible to switch line 4 to a mixed service with Ponyzügen by the end of 2007. The Cobras on Line 11 made it possible to switch Line 7 into a mixed service with Tram 2000 doubles by mid-2008. The Glattalbahn extension came in 2008 and Line 10 was extended. Line 10 then got Glattalbahn Cobras. The Senftes now became free and were used by Depot Kalkbreite and Irchel. In December 2009, the peak-only Line 4E was opened and it used the Senftes which came free from Line 10. During 2009, Line 13 switched service to a Tram 2000 double mixed with Cobras, followed by Line 2 by mid-2010. After test drives with the Senfte Pony-formed Tram, the least of infrastructure adjustments was along Line 7. And from the summer of 2010 they were used on Line 7. With the opening of the Tram Zurich West project in December of 2011, Line 4E was discontinued. The Senftes that are now free were used on the new Line 17, mixed with some Ponyzüge. By 2012 the Tram 2000s are distributed as so. Tram 2000 solos are used on Line 8 and 15. Tram 2000 doubles on Line 2, 11, 13 and 14. Ponyzüge on Line 3, 4, 5, 9 and 17. Senftes on Line 6 and 17 and on rare occasions on Line 5 and 9. And the Senfte Ponies are used on Line 7. From 2013, Line 17 was extended to Albisgütli during rush hour. Changes were made to the line. It now uses reserves from Tram 2000 doubles and Cobras. The Tram 2000s came from Kalkbreite and Irchel. In 2017, the Tram Hardbrücke project was opened and Line 8 was extended. This meant that more reserves had to be used. Line 8 changed its maintenance location to Irchel, and from that point it uses mostly Senftes. While Line 7 had to give half of its Senfte Pony trams away to have a mixed operation with Tram 2000's doubles. In November 2019, due to massive vehicle shortages, Line 17 was discontinued and Line 6 took over the main part of the line with Cobras and a mix of Ponyzüges. Line 8 also uses half Tram 2000 solos because of this. Line 12 was now isolated from Line 10 and now uses 3 Senftes. By 2021, Line 8 got its Senftes back and Line 12 no longer uses its Senftes. In December 2021, Line 17 was reopened again. With the closure of the depot hard in January 2021, the vehicle allocation system was completely revised. Since then, there is no longer a fixed location for each vehicle. Each vehicle can now be maintained where it is currently stationed. Since January 2023, Line 7 also uses Cobras. With the reactivation of Line 15 on May 7th, 2023, the maintenance depot for Line 15 changed from Oerlikon to Irchel. Since then, trams on Line 15 have been operated with Senfte, transferred from Lines 7 and 8, and sometimes with solo Tram 2000s transferred from Lines 5, 7 and 9. By mid-2023, the Tram 2000s are distributed as so. Tram 2000s solo are only on Line 15. Tram 2000 doubles are on Lines 2, 7, 13 and 17, but these are only on rare occasions. Ponyzüges are on Line 3, 5, 7 and 9. Senftes are on Line 8 and 15, and on rare occasions on Line 9, while Senfte Ponies are on Lines 2 and 7. Since the end of March 2024, Flexi-T trams have also been operating on Lines 7. As a result, some of the Senfte Pony trams have been moved to Line 2. By 2025, all 70 Flexi-Ts of the first batch are delivered. Tram 2000 doubles are now no longer a thing. Ponyzüge can only be found on Lines 5 and 9, while Line 15 has more Tram 2000 solos. Since December of 2025, High floor trams can only be found on lines 8 and 9 as Ponyzüge. And as of writing this video, there is now no longer a high floor tram 2000 in operation. However, there are still Sänftes in operation. Solo Sänftes can be found on lines 5, 8 and 9, while the Sänfte Pony trams are on lines 2, 7 and sometimes on line 17. However, you can still find a high floor tram 2000 in this world, because the VBZ has given Vinnytsia in the Ukraine some of its tram 2000s. Some of the tram 2000s also had neighborhood logos on them. And here is the list. There was also a vaccine tram in 2023 where you could get vaccine to COVID-19. I know, right? Also, for the Women's Euros in 2025, one tram was rebuilt for the so-called event line. This tram is actually still in operation today. If you made it this far in the video, I want to thank you so much for listening. Let me know if you liked this video by giving it a like and a comment. And see you next time.